All right, this is OneLastMidnight. Welcome back to another episode of Valheim. Today we're going to look at mods. So, Valheim came out like a month ago. It just took off. 4 million people have purchased it so far. I don't know if it's slowed down, but that's the last number that I've seen. And of course, the modding community has gone crazy. Now, I found all my mods at the Nexus Mod Hub, and you can go to the Nexus Mod Hub and check out the latest mods for Valheim. The links are in the description for everything that I'm going to show you here today. We're going to look at 2 mods today, but technically we're going to look at 3 because they call this other one a mod as well. Before you do any modding, I highly recommend that you back up, at the very least, your characters and world section inside of your Valheim data. You can find these files under app data, local roaming, Iron Gate, Valheim. Personally, when I do a backup, I back up the entire Valheim directory just to make sure that I have everything that I need for my characters and my world. Some mods, like inventory slot mods, have the ability when you remove them to actually delete the items in your game. Again, make sure you make a backup. Be smart, please. So the first mod we want to look at is Vortex. Again, they call it a mod, but it's Nexus's official mod manager. Once you download that and install it, you get an interface like this. It's actually relatively easy to use. I highly suggest when you first install it to watch the introduction video, and it will tell you how to set up and configure Vortex to use for Valheim. This video is not going to be about Vortex. So like I said, watch the introductory video, but if you do feel that that is not informative enough, let me know in the comments below and I will make a video about how to use Vortex. After you have Vortex installed, however, when you're looking at mods in the Mod Hub, you'll now have an option to download using Vortex, and it will automatically download the file, get it ready for installation, and install it into your game. The Nexus Mod is a great community for mods, not only for Valheim, but for over 1,000 different games. You can find mods on just about any single game that you possibly are playing right now. While the Valheim section is pretty new, items are coming in on a daily basis, and several of these mods add quality of life improvements to Valheim's existing gameplay. So let's look at the first mod, which is the first person view. After installing the mod and going into Valheim, you won't really notice any difference. The game will look exactly the same. But if you use your mouse wheel, you can now scroll into a first person view, which gives you that first person perspective, just like you're playing an RPG game, which is really cool. The mod seems to work pretty well. Even with placing down building pieces or building specific items, and even while you're out adventuring. Now, there is some clipping problems. There's some minor downsides with using this particular mod, like sometimes your weapon will clip through. You could see through parts of your body and or your armor. I have a difficult time using a bow with this mod installed because the bow mainly just gets in the way. I mean, it's right in the shooting range area where the target reticle is, so sometimes it's really hard to get a bead on your target like you would want to. Especially with this bow, since it has a glow effect to it, and it just kind of adds to obscuring the view of what you're shooting at. It's not impossible to shoot at these items. It's just a little bit difficult, especially when they get really close to you and your arm winds up getting in the way and you can't see beyond a certain point. As you can see, I can't see this neck, even though he's right on top of me. But again, not impossible to use, just difficult to use. Other weapons seem to work just fine with no problem at all, like using the axe. And if you ever wanted a close-up view of a tree falling on your head, that's a great way to do it. Once again, you're going to have some weird effects with this because, it's not supported. This is not out-of-the-box functionality that Valheim gives you. It's a mod, and so mods sometimes have issues as well as, stuff within the game. but it's pretty usable. I mean, I kind of enjoy this first person mode. It is a little wonky here and there. To get out of first person mode, you can easily just scroll out. So getting in and out of first person mode is no problem whatsoever. It's just a simple scroll of the wheel to be able to traverse back and forth between these two modes. And I don't see any problem with the mod. I mean, it doesn't cause any issues in the game. It doesn't cause any crashes. It's just a different experience. And since you can zoom in and out quite easily, I don't think it's one I'll ever get rid of. I think I'll actually wind up keeping this mod installed, and then when new versions of the mod comes out, hopefully they'll fix some of these clipping issues that they're experiencing. Otherwise, you know, it works pretty well for what it is. But if you want to have that first person experience, definitely check out the first person mod that you can find in the Nexus Hub. The next mod we're going to look at is the Equipment and Quick Slots mod. This Equipment and Quick Slots mod adds the ability to be able to use your equipment and give you some quick slots on the bottom so that it takes these items out of your inventory. So when I open up the inventory, I now have slots available for the head, the chest, the legs, the shoulders, the utility, and then 3 quick slots. When I equip my armor and utility items, they go into the appropriate location, removing them from my inventory, and then placing those items in the appropriate equipment area. You can also add items to the quick slot. So if I wanted to add some food items in here for when I run out of food, I can do that pretty easily. And you can see that the keys to activate them are Z, V, and B by default. Actually, I'm out of food, so let's go ahead and eat a bunch of food. And I just press the Z, the V, and the B key to eat those food items. You could easily put potions in here, you know, mead items in here, something that will help you out along the way while you're adventuring. I do like the idea of the quick slot functionality. Now, the only minor downside of this, I just killed these boars, and when I go and pick up these items, they'll actually be placed into the quick slot area. Instead of, you know, leaving them on the ground or, you know, putting them in a place where I would expect them to be. So it's really treating these as 3 additional inventory slots. So don't be surprised if items get thrown into these quick slot areas if you don't have room in your inventory for whatever reason. It's easy to swap out the items just like your inventory. If you click on an item and then you drop it into the quick slot area, it easily replaces the item in the quick slot area. Also, for getting rid of items in the quick slot area, you can just drop them like you would normally out of your inventory. This is a nice little quality of life addition to the game. You have limited inventory space to begin with, and so having the ability to be able to remove at least 5 items from your inventory is rather helpful. With the addition of the other 3 quick slot items, you know, you're ultimately just gaining 8 spaces inside of your inventory, 1 entire row. And believe it or not, that makes it really, really helpful, especially when you're trying to carry a lot of things. All right, well, that's it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We looked at 2 different mods. We looked at the first person perspective mod, which gives you that first person view, which I think is pretty neat. And then we also looked at the equipment and quick slots mod, which gives you those additional 8 slots to be able to stick your equipment and give you a couple items for quick slotting. If you like this video, hit that like button. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. I'd love to have you in the community. If you want to follow me on any of my social media, you can find the links in the description below, and make sure to hit that notification bell. That way you know when I go live and when I post new videos. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.